Hey Megan, thanks so much for for doing this webinar. I appreciate it so much.
Yeah.
Guys, this is an awesome resource. Megan does coaching for parents and teens, right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
working
that's right.
with the family unit. And so she's going to teach us today all about how to handle those strong-willed kids. And she has some great insight to help
Yeah.
our health and happiness through quarantine. So Megan, thank you so
Great.
much for being with us
Yeah.
today.
Thank you for asking me. I'm excited. Everybody's kind of looking for things to do, and I'm thrilled to be able to help them get through this. And I know it's exhausting for some and terrifying, and some people are just like laid back and hanging out. That's kind of what we're doing. My daughter just came out and got in the hammock, and it's sunny here today, so that helps too. But I'm really excited to be able to kind of guide everybody with like what I would do. I have one preteen and three teenagers, one almost adult in my house. So lots of teenage stuff going on here too. So
I bet. So what's one thing that helps you kind of manage all that?
I think that one of the great things about my kids are fairly grown. My youngest is 11, but they're pretty independent. I mean, grown is in the fact that they can get up and make themselves a bowl of cereal, and they get around. They do what they need to do. My college kid gets up and does his homework and stuff like that. I'm lucky in that part. But I know going back, that rigor of having, kids are up. They need to. You got to help them get dressed. You got to get through. So I'm lucky to be much past that. But still, I think one of the things that we're really working on, and for the most part, I've got it nailed. I've got one late sleeper, but just really developing a schedule and making each day be as not necessarily structured, because you don't want to over structure during this. I think that can get stressful for people, but just saying, you know what, we need to get up at a normal time. You need to get dressed. We're not going to lay around in our pajamas all day. This is a day. We've got things we're going to do. So whether we're on spring break this week, but
Okay.
whether you're spring breaking or you are doing virtual learning, making them understand that this isn't just like a snow day. This is actual, unfortunately, this is our class right now. You need to take it seriously, and really like dividing that time up into meaningful chunks so that it's not just a fly by the seat of our pants issue, because I think that's when we start struggling with boredom. Like, I don't have anything to do, and being able to say, well, you do have something to do, or this is what we're doing right now, and creating that sense of stability and structure instead of having everything just loose and uncertain when there's already so much uncertainty.
Okay, that's good to know. All right. So if you do have kids who are pushing back and kind of pushing the boundaries, how do you manage that?
Okay, so this is one of those things. I will be the first one to say that as a kid, that was me. Like, I can remember my mom telling me I was bullheaded, and I never knew what that meant. And I was like, what? I don't understand. Like, just do what I said you do already. So those kids, what really sets them off is this sense of, it's almost like we would say they want to be in control, but for them, it's that they need to be in control. And it's this sense of, I'm going to tell you what works for me. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do because this is my life and I'm going to do it my way. And we can see that in kids starting from the time they're very, very little. I remember my oldest, when I would put him in a car seat, and he would be so tired and he would just bang his head back and forth to stay awake. There was no way it wasn't intentional. He's just always been that, this is my structure, this is what I do. So for those kids, I think really what sets them off is that they're craving this idea of respect and choice. And one of the things we can do with them is just let them know, we have a lot of time here, and I know you want it your way, but really starting to set them up to know that we understand them, even when we may not. And I'm not saying that as a sense of lying, but letting them know, I understand that this is what you want. I understand that you feel stressed out or angry or scared or whatever it is that they're feeling, and acknowledging that and just saying, I know you're upset. I know you're mad. It's okay for you to be mad. And then really giving them a choice. And this is, I think, where it gets really, really hard for parents, is because we want it our way and we're the mom or the dad and we want to say, nope, this is what we're doing. But taking that giant step back with those kids and saying, you have a choice. You can clean your room in 10 minutes or you can clean it now. And then just saying, choose. So that's one way, I think, with those strong-willed kids, is just offering them that opportunity to control what they can control. And then, celebrating, letting them know that even when they do lose it and they start to fall apart on you, that you're not going anywhere, because they also tend, when things feel out of control, and they certainly feel out of control right now, they're going to grasp for control in anything they can get.
Okay.
So I think parents are probably seeing, those kids that are battling back right now, especially older kids who want to go out and hang out with their friends. And I don't know up in Michigan if it's like, there are groups of teenagers going to get, like, my friend told me she saw a carload of teenagers getting Coney dogs the other day. They were all at this like hot dog stand. And I'm like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So I know that it's like, well, we sat on the opposite side of the table. Like, just setting those expectations out and making them clear and saying, this is what we do at our house, and if you make that boundary, be prepared to set that boundary, and then find another opportunity. Maybe you could FaceTime with your friends and everybody could have, like, give them options, I guess.
Okay.
Did that answer your question? Did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Okay. How old, so when do you think strong-willed kids pushing back and like giving them a choice, how early should parents start that? I know I have like friends with little ones, and man, 2 and 3, their little personality is just okay. All right, so start real early then, huh?
It starts, I mean, I really think there are some kids that you can tell, like I told you, my son, he was little tiny in that car seat and fighting to stay awake, and that was just, I can't make him sleep. He could choose to stay awake, right? But I think even when you have 2 or 3-year-olds and they know what they want, you have to know when you can step back. Is it really, really, really going to like rock your world if they wear rain boots with a dress? No, choose your battles. Like, is it going to be, if it's not dangerous to them and it's not, if it's not going to make them sick or hurt, sometimes you got to fold. I mean, I took my head shaker to the store multiple times dressed as Buzz Lightyear. It's okay. It's you choose your battle and you have to let them win. And there are certain things they don't get to win on, but when it's little things like that, giving them as much choice as you possibly can. And it might come down to, do you want cooked carrots or raw carrots for dinner? Pick. You can have them this way, and either way, and you can choose which one you want. And that gives them that opportunity to say, well, I got to pick.
Okay. So then if we're doing online learning for this kind of whatever we're doing right now, is it good to say, like, do you want to learn in the afternoon or the morning, or how do you structure the day for your kids, both your students and your own children, to give them, kind of set them up for success, I guess?
Okay. So I teach, I didn't say this, I teach high school history and government and econ and stuff like that. So I teach at an alternative school, and most of my students are at risk, kind of crazy lives, and like they're food scarce, they're all kinds of stuff. So they're a little bit different, and we structure our school so differently that we have a lot of strong-willed kids because they're grabbing control of anything they can. Mm-hmm. Or we have a lot of, I don't even know if I'd say strong-willed, but survival mode kids. So we offer them the opportunity that we say, okay, you have to check in your attendance by 1 o'clock or you're tardy. And then we, which is way later than a lot of schools, I know. And then we'll say we assign homework on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is due by Thursday. So we give them an extra day to do it. So all of their work is done then. So that's for my students. But for my own kids, like I know that they've all kind of got their own internal clock and schedule, and they also have their own sweet spot. Does that make sense? Like I know that, or like I know my my youngest daughter, she's gonna do her homework, and she'll get up. She doesn't get up, she's not super early, but I know she's going to get up and get started. And that's the same with my oldest daughter. She's also going to get up and she's going to get started. And I may not see her until later in the afternoon, but she'll get it done. Now, my oldest, he's always, I mean, since he was really little, he's up at 6:30 and he's usually at the kitchen table when I get up and working. But my youngest son, he is my kid that likes to sleep late, and he'll still do it, but I have to give him a little bit extra leeway on when he does it, because when push comes to shove, I don't care when they do it. I just want them to get it done. And if they don't function well, if they're not morning people, then I don't expect them to get up in the morning and get it done when it's most convenient for me. I expect them to do it when it's going to work best for them. And I think I have a little bit of extra, probably patience on that just because of where I teach. So I don't need to be, I've never been that mom that's going to say, okay, at 9 a.m., we're all bringing our Chromebooks to the kitchen table. Like, no, I don't care where you do it. I don't care if you do it outside under a tree. I don't care if you do it, you know, in your bed. I don't care where you do it, but it has to be done. It has to be done to the best of your ability. So, and you know, we see that as adults. Some of us are early birds. Some of us are night owls. Some of us know we do best at like late morning. Some of us are early afternoon. We have to know when we function best, and they know that. If we give them the opportunity and ask them and say, when is this going to work best for you? They'll tell us. Then we just have to believe them and, you know, allow them to prove that to us.
That's awesome. Yeah, really good insight. It's interesting, you know, like both with your teaching and with your own kids, you know, kind of how that dynamic comes together. That's really interesting. Now, do your kids go to public school, right? Just regular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So what else, what have you guys been doing to like pass the time for fun?
Oh, well, right now it is gorgeous out. So I am actually near Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I don't know how much different our weather is than you, but you know, when spring comes, it's like, well, thank you.
Yeah, you're like,
I can handle one more day of gray. I'm like, hallelujah, I will sit out here in my sweater. It's beautiful today, and it has been. So we've been outside quite a bit. We've done some walks. My daughter and I talked yesterday about maybe going and picking up trash on the side of the road today, which sounds really lame, but I'm kind of a tree. And I'm really annoyed by the amount of trash that's on the side of the road, and we literally have nothing better to do. And I'm like, all right, we're picking up trash.
Yeah.
We have done, we've done Easter eggs. We've done Easter eggs. We have baked so many cookies and cakes. And I'm like, oh yeah, we can bake something else. So we've done that. We have lots of family game nights, and my mom actually ordered a game for us and we played it the other night. That was really fun. My daughter and son both have a friend in there. So I have a 5th grader and a 7th grader, and their kids, this family, their kids kind of coincided with grades and classes with mine. And they did this thing where they put their kids in the car and didn't tell them where they were going. But the mom had texted us all to say, we're going to drive past your house. So we all like stood in the driveway and waved, and they slowed down and said hi. So we had like this little like drive-by thing. That was fun.
I bet that would be fun.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, you know, just whatever.
Get creative, figure out things that are kind of fun to do, and everybody wants.
And I think that it's funny. I've always said that, you know, most people are like, oh my gosh, when is school going to start? I'm going to lose my mind because my kids are at each other's throat. And I've actually always felt the exact opposite. So maybe I'm an anomaly. I don't know. But the more we're at home, the more they're actually getting along. And don't get me wrong. They argue. They, you know, they'll blow up at each other. But they really, like, I've seen them do more together. And it's almost like, oh, it's like summer now. I get it. So this is what we're doing. But it's not been, I think you're going to find what you look for. You know, if you're looking for the good stuff, if you're looking for ways that they can get along and have fun, and we're looking at the positive side of it, then that's what you're going to find. And we can sit around and we can be, you know, dreadful, and we can be scared, and we can like just mull over the fact that we literally can't leave the house, or we can say, you know what, we got all day to do anything we want.
Yeah,
I think that's it a little bit. So
true.
A lot of it's perspective.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you doing that Rachel Hollis's next 90 days challenge?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, me too. Yeah.
So I'll do anything she tells me to do.
I know. I know. And I'm reading Marie Forleo's Everything is Figure Outable. And I'm like, everything is figure outable.
I would love it. I want to read that. It's on my list.
It's so good. And it's so like, it's one of those that I like started highlighting and then I was like, okay, maybe I should do something different because I just have pages of highlight. And then I like just wrote down the page like with highlighter, you know, and then I was like, oh, maybe I should figure out a different, it's just incredible. I've been reading a lot, you know, I don't have kids,
I'm gonna get it.
yeah. And so like I've been reading a lot and, you know, whatever, but yeah, it's been so fun.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. What is okay, do you have any advice for people to stay healthy and like remember to eat their vegetables and you know, you make cookies but don't eat 4 dozen, you know, all that good stuff.
Yeah, that's hard. And I laugh at the memes where everybody's like, woo, when I get out of here, it's not going to be good news. And I think that there's a reason for that. Okay, so there's a reason for that. And I'll go all pretend scientist here. So if we talk about why people are gravitating towards cookies right now, other than the fact that it's fun to bake, and I get that, our brain has this switch in it. Okay, so what happens is when we eat sugar, our blood sugar goes way, way up, right? And when our blood sugar goes up, or that sugar actually throws out an endorphin response, and it sends out all of these really good feeling, warm, comfortable, happy hormones into our body that make us feel safe. They make us feel warm and fuzzy and good. So we it's not necessarily that we're dying for cookies. We're dying for that reaction that we get from it. All of those great feelings. When you see the thing that says sugar has the same reaction as cocaine, that's the part they're talking about. It's not.
So it's the endorphin rush that sugar creates, right?
Yes. It has the same endorphin rush as any like cocaine or any type of drug like that. So we go way, way up. Our brain is like, great, I feel awesome. But our body is saying, whoa, hang on a minute, that's too much. And it just shoots out a gob of insulin. And what happens is that insulin gets shot out and our blood sugar crashes. And when our blood sugar crashes, we get sad, we get thirsty, we get tired, we get cranky, we get like that whole hangry feeling that if like teenage boys and their hangry thing, teenage girls too, but like hangry is real. And I think, you know, there's that Snickers bar commercial with the hangry little monster and he eats the Snickers and then he's happy. Yeah, it's because he just got a hit of sugar. So we go from sugar high, like feeling great, down to the bottom. And when that happens, then the first thing that happens is our brain says, whoa, I don't know what happened. Give me something. So when we bottom out and we're sleepy and grouchy and sad and depressed, we know that, I don't know, I guess I'll just eat a cookie or a cupcake, or it was my husband's birthday and we made carrot cake cheesecake last night. So yeah. I'll eat some more of that. And then I'll feel really good. And I'm going to have energy and all of that. And then, of course, we start to cycle back over again. We squirt out more insulin and we dive bomb. So this whole idea of I'm eating more cookies or cupcakes or bread or anything else that's carby or sugary, yeah, it's fun to bake it, but that's not really it. We're eating it because even if we don't consciously think this is going to make me feel happy, there's that reaction in there that makes us feel happy and safe. And it's called comfort food for a reason, right? It's like macaroni and cheese and stuff like that. We feel comfort when we eat it. So that's, we're seeing a lot of people right now I know who are like, what is going on? And me included. Like, even I catch myself thinking, I'm not hungry. Why am I hungry? And then, you know, because it is, and we see that play out in different ways. I have to admit, I have not felt stressed about this during the day. I've been super relaxed. I haven't worried about it. But man, at night, I didn't used to ever dream, and I'm dreaming like crazy. So it's going to come out some way or another. And I would really just encourage people to stay healthy and to not just physically healthy, but mentally healthy. like I said, get up and create that schedule for yourself. Make sure that you set your alarm clock and get up at about the same time every day. Get dressed. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so easy to sit around in pajamas and sweats and say, well, this is it. No, put on some lipstick, for crying out loud, and put on some pants that aren't flannel, and let's do something, right? So I said it's amazing what lipstick and like actual pants will do for you. So and it's weird. It has like this effect. But then, you know, and one of the things I do that this is kind of new for me, but this started with the whole Rachel Hollis thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I make a list at night before I go to bed of what I want to accomplish the next day. So when I wake up, I don't have to think about what I want to do, because I think sometimes it's almost too late for me if I wait until the next day.
Okay.
If I wait until morning, I'm like, I don't know, like I just don't feel like it. But if I put it on my list the night before, then it almost holds me accountable. Like, this is what you're doing tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah. So instead of waking up and making a to-do list, I like to make my to-do list before I go to bed. And I put simple things on there like get coffee, read Bible, you know, and then I can be like, look at me being productive, just drinking coffee.
Check.
Check, coffee, done. So, you know, put things on there and schedule in fun. So I will put on there, play game. So I know that, like, if my kids want to play a game, it's on my list, I'm doing it. Or get creative. Go outside. I mean, even if it's raining, it's okay to be a 5-year-old right now and to go jump in a puddle. Like, just go outside. So, but really, and being conscious of, are you eating, you know, are you eating because you're bored or you're nervous? And what are you really looking for? I think because all of our cravings serve a purpose, and whether we're craving cookies to make us feel good, at the same time, you know, if your body is all of a sudden thinking about a salad, there's a reason for that. I mean, you may think, I don't want to eat that, but if you listen, you know what you need.
Yeah.
And making sure that, you know, this too shall pass, and you're not going to want to have to figure out where those extra 20 pounds came from eating comfort cookies, right? So, and hopefully it'll pass just in time for swimsuit season, because I do not want to be stuck in my house when we can be going to the dunes or doing whatever later. So
Yep, I agree. Awesome. Oh my gosh, Megan, thank you so much. Okay, tell us a little bit about your coaching practice and about what you do.
Okay, so I primarily work with teenagers and young adults in communication and confidence. I use a system called Bank Code, and where that you can go in, and it's how I start. And what Bank Code does is it will, you can go in and there's these 4 cards, you put them in order from most like you to least like you. And it tells you, it's like any other personality test that would tell you about yourself, but I can have my kids do it or my husband do it. And I can see what their personality is. And it teaches me, you know, it taught me for my kids and for my husband and for my students and everybody, what is their greatest, like, their value set. And so I coach kids on how to use that value set to communicate and to make decisions, but also how to set goals and how to achieve those goals based on what's important to them. So I do a lot of, like I said, confidence and communication, also like self-esteem and just really goal setting for teenagers and young adults. But also I do a little bit of health coaching with adults as well. So talking about whether it's diabetes or weight loss or whatever it is for adults. But I usually tend to be mostly with teenagers and young adults because they're kind of my jam.
They're your jam. That's good. That's good. Definitely.
Yeah.
Awesome. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much for doing this. This is great. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a great day, and we'll see you when social isolation is done with.
I certainly hope so. I would love that.
All right. You have a good day.
Thanks, Sarah.